And greetings, everybody. This is Bob from Daily Enduring Truth, and I'm grateful to be here with you today. As you realize, probably this is a little bit later than my normal, but November, again, is National Novel Writing Month, and the goal is to write a novel of 50,000 words or more in 1 month. And I'm very close to my goal. I haven't met it yet, which is unusual for me because usually I meet it about 2 or 3 days ahead of time. I'm still about 2,500 words behind the goal, but that means I'm on top of the average where I should be. So I've got 2,500 words to meet my goal, excuse me there, and I should make my 50,000 word novel. I'll still have some more writing to do on it after it's finished, but that's normal. Sometimes I finish the novel, sometimes it's not worth finishing. I've done this now since I think 2008, and every year except for one. And so that's just sort of where I am as a person. I like doing that. For those of you who are concerned about my wife, she is improving. She's still being very careful. And we had a lot of rain today, which I wondered if it might be a tropical wave, given the way 2020 has been. But my wife told me no, it came from the west, not from the east. So anyway, that's been today. In the Bible study today, it's a very interesting study because it begins with Jesus asking the scribes and Pharisees and the religious leaders the kinds of questions that they asked him. He said, "Why is it that David called him Lord if the Messiah is the son of David?" And so Jesus forced the religious leaders there to answer the same kind of question they'd like to ask him. The unanswerable question that only Jesus could answer and that only Jesus could do well. And then he talked about the scribes and the Pharisees who liked to have the appearance of piety, but they were basically robbing widows in the midst of doing that. And that to me is sort of a sad story. And then one of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of the widow's mite. And in this story, we see that a widow comes and puts two small coins. And the research that I did says basically it's the two smallest coins in the Roman Empire at that time, maybe among the Hebrews. I'm not sure which it was. But she put those two small coins in the offering. Now, today, if you hear some kind of evangelist talking, a lot of times he'll say, and when you take that offering, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it at all. I want nice folding money or something like that. And obviously, I'm joking a little bit and exaggerating. But back in those days, they loved hearing that money go down the chute because they had like a big trumpet, and it came down into a funnel, and so the funnel went into the box that held the coins. They didn't have paper money back then, and so anyway, what you would do if you were a real good scribe or Pharisee is you might take a $10 gold piece, and I'm using our common terminology today, and turn it into pennies, because a one coin doesn't make much noise, but you get $10 worth of pennies. Boy, that's a lot of noise. And so that you did that to draw attention to yourself. People could say, "Oh, he's giving a lot of money." This widow came by, and in the midst of all the noise, her two coins were like the sound of silence. And Jesus said, this woman gave from her heart. She gave pretty much all she had and more. For a lot of people, giving a little bit isn't much of a sacrifice. I have worked on the finance committee at our church, and I've seen people who have sacrificed to give, to support the work that God is doing through our church. And I think it's a worthy effort. But when I give, it's nothing like that, because God has blessed me with far more than I need. And we give our percentage giving, but we still have a lot more left. I'm not giving everything I have. I'm going to be honest with you. But this widow gave all that she had. She had nothing extra after this. And I love the story because Jesus recognized that the greatest gifts of all weren't those that were the greatest amount, but had the greatest amount of heart. And I think this widow's offering had the greatest amount of heart. So it's not a sermon on giving. It's a sermon on your attitude. And so that's how I close the story, and that's how we finish Mark 12 finally. I'm trying to decide if I should go with a Christmas theme through December or not. I'll be thinking about that, and you'll find out next Saturday. I can always come back to Mark back in January. So probably I'm not sure, because sometimes we hear that so often we don't get anything new. But I'll think about it. Anyway, you all have a great day, have a great week, and let God